Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today's video is my first Halloween video and I filmed it on this half skull tutorial. You guys will probably have seen this looking thing floating around for quite a while because beautiful Crispy here on YouTube created this, or similar to this, quite a while ago. I think it was just last year. Anyway, so many people have recreated it in their own different way. So if you would like to see how to do this Halloween tutorial, then please just keep on watching. First thing we want to start off with is a clean canvas or a fresh canvas. So what I am doing is taking off the bottom part of my foundation. What I am doing here is just taking a makeup wipe and I'm kind of carving out where I'm going to put the white. I forgot to say that I was doing a glam eye makeup. As you can see, I wanted to have kind of the juxtaposition of the glamorous eyes and top half of the face to the skull bottom. So I would recommend doing some sort of eye makeup. So taking some white face paint, I've speeded this up quite a lot because this did take me quite some time. You want to get a really pigmented white base, and the face paint that I was using took a couple of layers to build up the white pigmentation that I wanted, so it's a perfect blank canvas. And you basically want to carve out your nose halfway up and a half moon on your cheeks, so kind of lowering the hollows of the eye socket, if that makes sense. Once we have carved that out, it should look something like this. Taking a liquid liner, I am carving out the middle of the top half of the skull. This is just to add as a shadow to the eye sockets. We're going to add a little bit more definition underneath it, but we're just applying a line to kind of hollow out the would-be eye sockets, which looks something like this. So you just want to draw kind of a big long C or a U shape, I guess. Then with a really thin angled brush, I am taking a black eyeshadow and I'm adding a little bit of definition underneath the black line that we just carved out. So as you can see, I'm going ahead and just doing one line and then I'm kind of dragging it down a little bit, and this is just going to help add a little bit more shadow underneath that original black line. It's just going to help add a bit more definition and help the skull look a little bit more 3D as opposed to more of a flat 2D, so we just want to add that definition. So you just want to follow the line pretty much parallel to the black line. You just want to shadow that just underneath it. Then for the nose, again I'm taking that black eyeliner and you just want to create a block on the centre of the nose. This again is just going to act as a shadow from the skull, and I created a bit of a V at the top, and then I also carried the V on to the end of the nose. And then the liner was getting a little bit difficult to work with, so I went ahead and applied black eyeshadow on top, just one of my morph shadows from one of the palettes, and that helped do it a lot quicker and also gave me more pigmentation. Then taking more black shadow with that thin angled brush again, we're carving out the beginnings of the jaw. Again, it's probably a little bit easier just to watch it rather than me explaining it, but we're creating two lines which should act as the shadow of the jaw. So the top line is going to end just above your natural lips, and then the second one is going to drop down quite a lot sooner, as you can see. And then I'm taking my black eyeshadow again, and you want to create a gradient effect with this, so you want to apply the most of the pigment to the outer corner of the lines and more black on the outer perimeter, and then bringing in a bit more grey as a gradient. Then I'm going back in with the black eyeliner, and this is where we start off the teeth section, we're just blanking out our lips with a bit more white, as we need to make sure they're super white. And then what I actually realised would be the best way to do this to ensure that they stay as white as possible was to set my lips and my chin area, and I set it with my RCMA No Colour Powder, which you will see in a second, but I'm just applying a thin black line to the centre of my lips, which is just going to help follow the line along with the teeth that we're going to create in a second. So I'm just adding some black eyeshadow to the centre of my lips, and then here we are setting everything with some powder. Okay, everybody stop. It's a different day. As you can see, I look very different. I sat down, sorry it's raining so hard right now, but I want to take a quick second out of this tutorial just to say I sat down to start editing this last night. I got to the point where I was setting my white with powder, and then it cut straight to me with the teeth. My camera overheated and stopped recording when I filmed the teeth and the beginning of the teeth. So I just got back from work and I wanted to come on here, and I didn't want it to just cut straight to the teeth because I don't think that would be a very good tutorial. So I wanted to come back on here and show you guys how I created the teeth from the beginning. I've got all the shading and stuff. That bit is still from the tutorial that I filmed a couple of days ago. So I've just done this bit really badly. I've just quickly done it because I wanted to show you guys when you, if you're going to recreate this, when you've done these bits, how to start working on the teeth. So I really hope that you forgive me for filming this on a different day, but I would rather give you guys showing you exactly how to do the teeth rather than straight to the shading of the teeth. Just speak this part a little bit. So I'm taking a little angled brush like this. It's a super thin one, super flat angled brush, and I'm just taking the black from my Morphe 35K palette. This is the white powder that I set it with, and I will show you exactly how I draw out the teeth, and then we will cut back to the original video, but I'm just going to zoom you in. I started off in the middle, and you just want to draw a couple of straight lines down to basically shade out where your teeth join, or the gaps between your teeth. So whilst I was doing it, I basically just kept opening my mouth and just following the lines of my teeth. You also want to slightly curve the lines to give yourself a bit of a V. So the part of shading that is the efficient shading and the shading that I really liked, I did get on video, thank goodness. So you just basically do, it's kind of like you're drawing brackets. So you just do an open bracket and a closed bracket, and you basically work it as far back as you want your teeth to go. And you want to kind of match them up so the top is the same as the bottom. So again, you can start in the middle and then just open brackets and close brackets. So this is how you build up the base of your teeth before you go on and do the shading. And the teeth will then look something a little like this. But I just take, again, more black shadow, and the way that I found easiest to shade after trying to fill the teeth in so many different ways is drawing, again, like a little V. So, see how I'm drawing a little V here? And you want to kind of concentrate the most of the black at the base and then fade it out as a bit of a shadow effect. So again, little V. And you kind of work it along like that. You kind of want the teeth to look like a fat teardrop. So you kind of want it to look, and then you just continue this all around the teeth. But that is how you get the sort of base of the teeth started off. And we are back to the original footage. So we're leaving the teeth alone for a little bit and working on the chin area. And all we're doing is applying some lines of black eyeshadow on that small little angled brush again. This is just going to make the skull appear a little bit cracked. Then going in with a fluffy shader, I'm just taking a little bit more black shadow and just adding a little bit of shadow beneath those original crack lines. I wasn't happy with all of these, so I actually ended up going back in with some white face paint over that middle one, but the ones on the bottom of the chin I was happy with. So you just want to start with some original lines and then apply some shading around them. Then back to the teeth, I went in with my liquid liner again because the actual teeth got a little bit lost with all that original shading we were doing, which I again wasn't really happy with. This is what happens when you wing a look and you don't really know what you're doing. So then I am basically going in with that L'Oreal Infallible and I am shaping all of the teeth again. Going back in with a little bit of the white face paint again, I'm just highlighting the teeth. The original teeth colour kind of got lost with some of that shading that I was playing around with, so I just wanted to go back in with that white face paint just to highlight where the teeth really are. Now I'm just adding a couple of extra lines of definition just above that jaw situation that we've got going on. This is just going to add a little bit more definition to the cheek area. And then I'm just going back in with some white as well, just to highlight the middle bit. Every time you do some shading and shadowing, you want to make sure that you go back and add some white to highlight the other areas. So I've zoomed you in so you can see the shading. This is the shading that I would recommend you doing from the beginning, not any of that silly stuff that I was doing beforehand. And I'm just taking that little small Morphe brush again with black shadow on it. And I'm basically doing that little V shadowing effect that I showed you guys, and then if the teeth kind of get taken over with shadow, I'm just going back in and highlighting them again, but then we're just making sure that we go back in and do that little V between all of the teeth, and that's what's going to give you the really nice definition, but it's also going to make them look a lot more realistic if you have this little V. And it's super easy, you literally just move your brush in a little V shape in the corners of the teeth at the top, and that's how you get the shape of the teeth. Obviously I've done a lot of different shading so far and I wouldn't recommend any of them. I would recommend just doing the very first teeth bit that I showed you guys the second time over, and then I would go straight on to doing this shading. All the other bits were kind of a little bit pointless and time consuming and made it look, if anything, a little bit messy. But if you just do this shading effect on the teeth that I showed you to create, then you're going to be on to an absolute winner, and I think it looks really cool. My one, if anything, just needed a little bit neatening up, just because we had a bit of grey going on from all the times I'd gone back in with black shadow and then gone over it with white. So if you just keep to doing the little V's, you won't get any of that messiness and it's going to look really, really cool. And once you have finished that shading, this is the completed look. Again, I'm really sorry that I lost that middle clip and we had to do it on a second day, but I hope that I made up for it anyway, and I really hope that you enjoyed it. One thing that I would say is that this is quite a good last minute tutorial because you don't really need to have that much stuff. You don't need to go out and buy blood and gore, so it's quite a good last minute Halloween costume. Most people will have a face paint lying around, but if not, you can get them at most stores around. So that's really the only thing that you need to buy, and this costs £3.75, so it's not that much. All my social media links are in the description. If you did enjoy it, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. And I have lots more Halloween tutorials coming up. I've got a bunch that I really want to film. I'm just waiting on the special effects stuff to arrive. So hopefully within the next week or so, I'll be able to film and get those up as well. So I think that's everything I've got to say. So once again, thank you for watching and I will see you in my next one. Trying to catch the beat, make up your heart. First I wanna go to the light.